Hi guys, it's Danny and I wanted to share today some tips on using our different ink pads. So close to my heart in their range have heaps of different ink pads. So there are 6 different varieties of ink pads and the first of them appear in our catalogue on page 89, and you have options, lots of options for different reasons, and I'm going to start by just showing you where they are in the catalogue, and then I'm going to start talking a bit more about them. So on this particular page here, there are actually 3 different blacks pictured, and I'm going to come back to this one. This is the water-based ink. I'm going to come back to this one later. However, I want to talk about the Intense Black versus the Archival Black, and these are my exceptionally well-loved ink pads. You can see I've had these for quite a while and use them a lot, and I do use them a lot for very different purposes. So if I'm wanting to be colouring, so just like I did here, I stamped and then I've actually coloured using one of our shimmer brushes, I use the Intense Black. Now you need to stamp it and then you need to let it sit. Now you could heat set it if you've got like a heat gun or something like that, but I actually just give it 20 minutes or so, a little bit longer, or even if I'm not in a rush, I might stamp the day before, colour the next day, that sort of thing. I do know if I'm too quick, like with just a few minutes, and I try and stamp and then colour, it may bleed just a little bit. But if it's left to set and dry, you can colour with the tri-blend markers, you could colour with your water pencils. I've mentioned you could colour with the shimmer brushes, and of course you've got your watercolour paint as well. So I love that. That is my go-to for colouring, and if I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing, and the fact that it might be an outline and I might colour it later, then I'm going to choose the Intense Black. The Archival Black, so both of these are a solvent-based permanent ink. Now, the Archival Black is exactly that. It is acid-free, archival safe, all of that stuff for in things such as your scrapbooking and things like that, where you want to keep things safe and happy. Protect your photos, all that sort of stuff. It's good, nice, crisp black. And yeah, that's where I tend to use that. All right, get those 2 out of the way. And you can get a refill for the Intense Black as well, which is kind of nice. So I use it a lot. And with those inks, they may stain your stamps a little bit, just depending on how quickly or how well you clean. And we do recommend these days just using the chamois. That's this beautiful blue thing here. I'm sorry, I didn't bring mine over. You just wet it with water, wring out the excess water, and then you wipe your stamps as clean with it. I love it. All right, I'm going to flip over a few pages. I should have had these tabbed. Sorry. I think I'm going the wrong way. I think I am. Where's the heat bossing? Nope, one more. No, I'm sorry. New catalogue. They've rearranged everything. Here it is. Okay, beautiful. This is our Versamark ink. Or not ours, but you know, it's Versamark ink that we stock in the range. And it's this is a well-loved pad, as you can see, and it still works perfectly fine. And you stamp your stamps into it, you stamp onto paper, and then you cover them with the embossing powders of your choice, and it sticks to the paper, sticks to the ink. And then you heat it and it melts the embossing powder and holds it into place. You can actually do that as well with our pigment-based inks. We do have a small range of pigment-based inks. You can find most of these online. This happens to be the white one, but there are other colours as well. And pigment, they sit on top of the paper, all right? So this is why white is in a pigment as opposed to a water-based ink. So pigment ink sits on top of the paper, it sits on the surface, takes longer to dry. So you can actually use clear embossing powder over coloured pigment inks, for example, and then heat it up and you'll get a nice shiny look to your ink. So that's another option for your pigment inks. The white in the pigment ink is what I use if I'm stamping on darker colours and I want white, I will use my pigment ink. All right, flip to the back. When it comes to water-based inks, we have a water-based ink that matches every single cardstock, with, as I said, with the exception of White Daisy, and French Vanilla is the other one. All right, so White Daisy has a pigment pad. So these water-based inks, and this is our new Wild Berry colour of the year, they are exactly that. They are a water-based ink. They will soak into your paper as so they dry quite quickly. So this is your, if you want some bright colours, you're not doing anything too messy, adding water, anything like that, that is your go-to. And these, and like the pigment inks and the intense black and the archival that I showed before, are all a magnetic open and close. So very, very easy to open and close, nothing to click and twist and all the rest of that. So fantastic to use. So you can get any of these colors in a stamping ink, as well as the re-inker pads as well. Now, the other one in our range, just while I go into the last of the inks, these inks have been around for a while, and I've got to find the right page. Silly me. I nearly went to call myself mum on camera. Good-o. Here we go. No, Distress Oxides. This is what they're often used for, though, is with stencils and things like that. Okay, here we go. Distress Oxides. So these are from the Ranger collection, the Tim Holtz collection, and we have a number of different colours in here. Now, these, if you've never used them before, this is not this colour, but these type of inks is what I've created the background here behind my beautiful little hedgehog that's in my kit for next month's workshop. And this was actually two colours that I've blended together. So using a blending pad just like this one and moving it around in circles to blend it together. So they create beautiful blends. I've then gone in with some water, just spritzed it on. You could flick a clear shimmer brush on it. That will do a similar effect. And it is water reactive. And it stays water reactive for quite a long time. You can also stamp with these. There's nothing stopping you stamping with them. But they are a lot like the Mental Blank, the pigment-based inks, in the sense that they're going to sit on top of the surface. They take longer to dry, etc. So, and as I said, they are water reactive. So you've got to be just careful with that in terms of what you're using it. I do like, if I've done a background like this, if I'm then going to stamp something onto this, like a sentiment or something, I will often heat emboss it, or I'll do another Distress Oxide ink onto the Distress Oxide ink, because even the water in our water-based inks will then react with this a little bit. So just be aware of that. It's worth having a play with to test that you're going to get the look that you want with your stamping. I hope that has helped, guys, because oh my gosh, there are so many options for you to choose from to help you pick your projects. All right, guys, have a great day.